Now, if you clicked on this video, I'm pretty sure you know what Garten of BanBan is. An indie horror phenomena that took the internet by storm, gained so much love from a very young audience, but an equal, if not greater, amount of hate from a much larger audience. Garten of BanBan became the first indie horror release to ever know the true wrath of the community. While Poppy Playtime, Bendy and the Ink Machine, and even Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach garnered a lot of hate themselves, Garten of BanBan was just a new monster. With very baseline graphics, basic and non-revolutionary character design, and a sequel and merch line announced and prepared before the game was even released on Steam, people pulled out every single criticism that they could possibly muster. Now, Chapter 2 of Garten of BanBan came out a little less than 2 months after the first, and now a trailer for the third one just came out, and by the time this video is up, the third one's probably just gonna be out. Now, the popular opinion on this is that Garten of BanBan bad, big scary BanBan game, bad kids game, but I'm here to take a more unpopular stance. I think that the Garten of BanBan hate has gone way too far, especially for a game that I'm going to prove to you is 100% self-aware. That's right. Not only will I make you feel bad for the devs of Garten of BanBan, but I'm going to prove to you that I completely, 100%, unequivocally believe that this game is an elaborate troll on the entire internet and children's YouTubers themselves. Let me explain. Now, first, let's start with the insane amount of backlash the game has received. After an intense pushback on the release of the second game, the Euphoric brothers, the dev team behind the project, released this statement on Twitter. "We are leaving Twitter temporarily. As lots know, we've been getting tons of hate since Garten of BanBan released, but what a lot don't know is what's been happening behind the scenes. The situation has escalated so much that now it's affecting our own and family's safety. We've endured a lot mentally, but when it comes to receiving physical threats that reach our personal life and family, that is the end of the line for us on Twitter. To address the elephant in the room, what caused all of this is our game becoming too popular and successful for certain big figures in the toxic part of the indie horror community. It is sad how some of their fans follow their lead blindly, with complete disregard to the morality of their actions. It's worth mentioning that this is all against two brothers in school working non-stop and completely alone on a 100% personal budget. If you backtrack, you'll find that we've harmed no one and did absolutely nothing wrong. All we did was release a free game. We're not closing the account to prevent impersonation. Nothing will change regarding the game. Development of Garten of BanBan will continue as normal. We are not giving up on our dream." Now, if you don't know too much about Garten of BanBan or the drama that happened, this is gonna read as fucking insane. Obviously, with no backstory on this situation, I can't even imagine what you think happened. Basically, a ton of YouTubers got angry, and a ton of random people on Twitter got angry, and they shared that anger with the accounts. And obviously, as the internet usually does, it went too far. Now, when you know that, this just seems like a standard Twitter statement, but the hidden replies are anything but standard. Now, while there was some positive reception, this statement caused a large negative uproar, especially from indie horror YouTubers. Specifically, many of them taking the opportunity of the short runtime to refund the game on Steam after completion, and the BanBan team went into uproar over this. Many YouTubers had a problem with Garten's handling of this situation, but I'm gonna try not to focus on that right now. My main focus is gonna be proving to you today that Garten of BanBan, controversy and everything aside, is an extremely clever satire that is fooling your favorite children's YouTubers into pretending the game is fun.
Oh my god, okay. Oh man, I don't like parkour.
And fooling your favorite adults into thinking the game is dead serious. In fact, I even have a theory that that Twitter post was made entirely just to stir people up. Garten of BanBan 1 opens up in a kindergarten, where the game informs us that we're a parent looking for a missing child. I won't touch too much on the game's story because I want to talk more about the actual design. When you first load into the world, it's full of bland characters that look like they were generated via AI, and really basic or snarpy quips being said by all the characters and some chat bubbles.
Stinger Flynn says, "Having many arms allows me to help a lot more people."
The most jarring of those speech bubbles being "sharing is caring," "your pancreas is mine." Now, to me, this is our first sign of the game being completely self-aware, due to the fact that I simply cannot believe that a human made that and said, yeah, that's gonna be passed off as seamless. Next up, we're gonna take a look at some core mechanics in the game. The drone. The drone is very lazily thrown into the game and serves its purpose only to hit very obvious looking buttons. The drone is egregiously slow and leads me to believe even further that this game was not meant to be taken seriously. Speaking of not being taken seriously, that fucking bird. This bird named Ophelia Bird, I think, is so unserious. It acts as our antagonist for the rest of game 1, eventually leading us into a chase scene, cornering us in a room, and eventually having to drop it into an abyss. You've probably seen this bird all over the internet in so many memes, and that's because no matter how old you are, it's physically impossible to be frightened by this design. This is the most docile, polite creature I've ever laid my eyes on. Anyway, after that mini boss fight, we progress further into the kindergarten, get on an elevator, see a giant green guy that looks like he was a child's Play-Doh creation on crack. He knocks down our elevator, and the game ends. By the way, if you go to speedrun.com, the top speedrun for this game is 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Yeah, this game took me about 20 minutes to beat while I was goofing off. And remember what I said earlier, this game actually launched with a sequel already planned and advertised. And less than 2 months later, it released. Now, before I get into the specifics of the sequel, I do want to say 2 things. 1, the runtime and the quality of the game did actually step up in the sequel. But what also stepped up was the blatant, self-aware references that they littered through Garten of BanBan 2. BanBan 2 picks up immediately after our first game, a broken and injured big green guy and our elevator. We pick up the remote to the drone again and a key card. Oh, I forgot to mention, sorry. This game and the last rely heavily on fetch quests to get random key cards to open random doors. There's like 3 key cards per minute in this shit. Anyways, the key card leads us to a very bland hub world where we have to play a guessing game to figure out which door we actually have to go to. Anyways, once we find our spot, we hear a mysterious voice speak to us through the cameras, saying that he's stuck in the security room, so we do a puzzle to try and help him get out. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier. Earlier in the game, they mentioned a character called the Spider. It was written on the wall at the beginning, and somehow it manages to be the most creative BanBan design, yet also look like this. This thing is called Nab Nab, and it has a speech bubble that says, "Thanks, Nab Nab." This fucking game, man. So we enter the chase scene with Mr. Spider Nab Nab guy, get jump scared once. Oh, what the shit! And move on with the story until we stumble upon a note that says, if you can read this quick enough, you'll survive. Then we get clobbered in the head, and that's when this game takes a fucking insane turn. In this game, we were introduced to voice acting with this franchise with the mysterious voice through the cameras. But once it's paired to a body, oh my god, it only gets worse.
3 birds with 1 stone. I get all of your key cards, I get the perfect specimen, and I don't have to deal with that thing down there.
BanBan! Jesus Christ almighty. See, it has to be ironic. BanBan is voice acted by one of the Euphoric brothers themselves, and his performance is so genuinely lackluster that it baffles me. The entire time we're left to believe BanBan could not give a single shit about anything going on in this game. So BanBan shows up, he takes us away, and we wake up in a lonely hospital room, trigger an elevator, because this game has a really weird obsession with them for some reason, and then we reach our next zone, where we're greeted with, you guessed it, another fetch quest. Yay! There's a big green monster that kills us if we get too close, and a bunch of dead random BanBan monsters. We have to take a syringe and extract, fluid? Maybe? From a bunch of these characters, so we can fill up a pipe, then get our next key card. You see how ridiculous these fetch quests are? Genuinely beyond parody. Now, the next thing brings us back to the silly bird, where it appears and chases us, but we escape by following the second voice-acted character from this game, BanBan Lena. Yes, that is her actual canon name. Her voice acting is delivered pretty awkwardly.
Everyone, I want you all to welcome our newest student.
But compared to BanBan and the snail that we'll soon see, she actually did a decent job. BanBan Lena's classroom is filled with fake students, represented by bowling pins, basketballs, and watering cans. Every chair has a corresponding student stereotype label, and voice recorders with answer that correspond to said stereotype. Honestly, this section was pretty funny. I'll give it to him.
What is misery plus disappointment?
Dramatic kid.
My life. Correct! I will beat you to death. Correct! That is a perfect example. Good job.
That entire section is just so unserious, and I love it. The fetch quests here involve us collecting gum, money, and sunglasses to join the different subgroups of kids until we eventually sneak out, just to be met by a magnum ton of the silly birds again. We round them all up into the nest to distract the big bird, then we escape. Yeah, this task just felt like filler. And I'll be honest, for the rest of the game, that's how they all feel. As soon as we escape the bird again, we're greeted by this snail that has the funniest voice lines ever.
Where are you hiding?
Basically, we just have to run and escape it. Pretty easy. The next quest was so boring and completely unnecessary. We had to shoot a bunch of rockets at buttons out of cannons for like 8 minutes. Nothing special. I'm just gonna skip over it. After this, we had to do a parkour section to get to the final segment of the game, where BanBan, in his whole unenthusiastic self, appears. He lazily dumps some lore on us. Then we have to run from Jumbo Josh and BanBan Lena. And no, I won't be talking about the lore because I just don't care. There's probably some videos out there explaining it, so if you're interested, go watch someone else. They could probably explain it better than me. Anyways, after BanBan Lena starts chasing us, we have to get Jumbo Josh to accidentally capture her instead of us after getting her on an X. So after that, we get on another elevator, and then nothing happens. The game ends. So, after fully reviewing both games, I think I can confidently say that while the doxing and intense harassment are not good at all, and I definitely feel for the Euphoric brothers there, I think the criticism is well deserved. And I don't think they set themselves up well to create a product that would be taken seriously in the first place. I do think they are 100% leaning into the fact that their game is kind of bad, as there are so many unserious moments that I pointed out throughout this entire video. But I do think one takeaway is extremely important. If they want to make a statement and even garner more respect for their project, they need to fully lean into this and make it a full, obvious satire on the state of indie mascot horror. They already have the perfect opportunity to do this with Chapter 3, and I am deep down in my heart praying that they do finally take that step and take this game so much further. Anyways, that's all I had to say. When Chapter 3 comes out, I'll probably talk about the franchise again, and I'll definitely be playing it on my Twitch stream and my second channel. So if you aren't already following me there, go do that. I promise you won't regret it. I'm funny sometimes. Without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you the next time I feel like I want to rant about something. Have a spectacular day.